what is really going on with Neutron, what is happening over at the Launch Complex 3 at Wallops Island, and what has to be done for Neutron to fly, as well as what other major catalysts do I think Rocket Lab stock has that can power the stock even higher in 2025 without a Neutron flight happening. All that and more on this episode of Rocket Lab Saturday here on the Stock Trek channel. So Neutron might not fly this year. The original thing was already pushed back to the second half of 2025. And there is a very real question floating around right there with investors, and that is, what if Neutron is delayed? What if they haven't announced a delay yet? What if things just aren't coming together quite as quickly and precisely as initially planned? And what if Rocket Lab is just waiting for the right moment to drop this information on the investors? Well, here are my thoughts and why I'm not worried. Let's start with the facts. Neutron's first maiden flight is now targeted for the second half of 2025. That has not officially changed yet. And Launch Complex 3 at Wallops Island is mostly built. It is almost ready. The concrete pad is poured, the water tower structure is standing, and only a few minor details remain. Fueling infrastructure and flame trench work are in the final stages, and very few things remain for it to be done and for Wallops Island to be officially open for business as far as the Neutron launching area. There are, however, several crucial steps that Rocket Lab has to accomplish for Neutron to have a successful maiden flight. Rocket Lab needs full static fire testing to be done for both stages. They have to complete a wet dress rehearsal on the launch pad. And then finally, they have to get regulatory clearance for launch. And yes, Neutron's was delayed to the second half of 2025, and people are worried about yet another delay, but I'm not worried. And why? Well, because we are seeing progress, okay? We are seeing progress at the facility at Wallops Island. We have been seeing progress with Neutron getting ready. Now, even if there is a delay, it doesn't mean a total stop. It doesn't mean a total end to progress. I mean, I would rather see a delay than a failure, to be honest. So if Rocket Lab, if they feel like they can't give that 100%, that it's not going to be a good launch, then yeah, I hope they do delay it. And I'm not worried. I'm not worried one bit. And here's the reason why. There are other catalysts that are waiting for Rocket Lab that can push the stock even higher, even without a Neutron launch. And I'll give you a couple examples. For example, a huge growth driver is Rocket Lab getting involved in national security. Because while everyone's been watching Neutron's launch pad and all this stuff going on with Neutron, you know, Rocket Lab has achieved a lot as far as government and security contracts. In fact, they just completed the critical design review for a Pentagon contract. And under this deal, Rocket Lab will design, build, and deliver 18 satellites for the Space Development Agency's trench tube. So this isn't just launch revenue that Rocket Lab is able to do, right? So they're doing end-to-end space systems. And again, if you've been a long-term investor, you know that the majority of the revenue that Rocket Lab gets is not coming from launches, it is coming from the space system segment of Rocket Lab. And it is predictable, recurring revenue, okay? And it's already been validated by the United States Department of Defense. So Rocket Lab having this defense niche that they got going on right now, that is a whole nother leg for the stock to stand on, not just on hopes of Neutron that isn't even fully finished yet. Not to mention, let's get real, Electron is totally crushing it as far as the small launch sector, okay? For those of you that have been watching the space industry, you have seen all the other little guys, all the little minnows in the ocean get just completely eaten up by Rocket Lab, right? You know, Astra, gone, goodbye. Virgin Orbit, goodbye, right? I mean, Firefly on and off, okay? Rocket Lab, on the other hand, they are just unstoppable. I mean, they've been doing launch after launch after launch, you know, just quickly. The turnaround is just getting faster and faster, and none of the other little minnows could keep up with that. Okay, Rocket Lab is like the whale in the ocean as far as compared to the other small rocket launchers. So, you know, I mean, I think that that's also another big win for Rocket Lab, is they're showing reliability with Electron, and people are taking notice of that. Customers are taking note that they feel that their payloads are safe and sound when they are on a Rocket Lab Electron rocket. So that's another leg for Rocket Lab to stand on, other than Neutron and other than the space systems. I mean, think about it. Customers like, you know, Black Sky and Hawkeye and even the European Space Agency, they are all choosing Rocket Lab and Electron. So these are some, you know, pretty sizable players, especially the European Space Agency. We're really excited to see Rocket Lab build a connection with them. So again, like I said, Neutron, it's exciting. I'm super excited about Neutron. That's a huge thing I'm excited about. But there are other things in the Rocket Lab portfolio, so to speak, that are catalyst, not just Neutron. So don't just put all your chips on Neutron. But like I said earlier, the space systems is basically the bread and butter of Rocket Lab for now, okay? As far as the Q1 of this year, space systems revenue actually outpaced launch revenue. Okay, so a part of the Space Systems division, Rocket Lab has high margin components like reaction wheels, star trackers, satellite buses, and a full photon spacecraft. And this is the part of the business that is growing the fastest. I mean, the revenue is just ramping up year over year, quarter over quarter. The Space Systems is like, that's the real rocket, okay? That's what's really taking off right now. Here's why I'm still bullish on Rocket Lab in 2025, even if there is no Neutron this year. Rocket Lab is winning government contracts and trust worth millions. You know, they're not just building a relationship with government and defense. They are also working with the European Space Agency, doing projects and launches for them. So I'm not concerned, okay? They have other legs to stand on. Plus, their vertically integrated space systems that they got going on right now is solid, stable revenue. That is not going away. It's not going away. It is building momentum, and it's reoccurring, and it's constant. I mean, that is a huge growth driver for Rocket Lab stock, for every quarter to be seeing the revenue increase from their space systems. Not to mention, smart money is noticing, right? So Cambridge Investing just, you know, enhanced their portfolio by 50% in Rocket Lab stock. That is telling me that the smart money, the big investors, they know whether or not Neutron is a go for launch. The stock is still a solid, stable, steady, growth-driven stock, regardless of Neutron, okay? You put Neutron in the mix, and yes, we are going to see some amazing fireworks as far as returns go in stock, okay? But even without Neutron, I still think that we have enough momentum. And not just that, but if there's a delay, okay, it's fine. We still got progress in other areas of the company. The Rocket Lab isn't solely just dependent on the Neutron rocket. They have other ways to bring in funds. From launches, again, space systems, government contracts, the European Space Agency contracts. We shouldn't be worried. We should be fine. Yes, we might be bummed out if Rocket Lab does kind of delay Neutron, But it's just a delay, folks. It's not the end of the story. They wouldn't be scrapping the whole thing. It's just a delay, which means great. We get to buy more shares, hopefully at a lower price. But who's to say if the price will even go lower by a lot, because they still have other catalysts going on for the stock. So again, I am not worried. I don't think you should be worried. Is a delay possible? Yeah, I mean, it could be possible. It's space. Space is hard. I mean, if one little thing, you know, in the whole chain of things that has to come together to build Neutron, if one little thing isn't quite ready or finished yet, yeah, there's going to be a delay. But again, that's okay. And, you know, don't worry too much about it, because Neutron will happen. There is no doubt about that in my mind. Neutron is going to happen. We might not know when, but what really matters is that it will, not when. So keep that in mind. But I'm definitely curious to see what you all think. Do you think Neutron is going to be delayed this year in 2025 and be pushed back to 2026? Or do you think the Rocket Lab team is going to basically pull off a miracle and get Neutron to fly in 2025 for its maiden flight? I definitely want to see what you all think as the investors, as a newbie, or as people that have been watching, you know, the Stock Trek channel or Neutron for a long time. What is your opinion? Could there be a delay? I think there could be, honestly. But even if there is, I'm not worried. You know, it's space, things happen. But again, Rocket Lab is very surprising. They have been able to pull off things like catch an Electron booster with a helicopter. Now, people thought that was just impossible and crazy, but they did it. So could the Rocket Lab team just be so amazing that they get Neutron to fly in 2025? That's possible too. When it comes to Rocket Lab, you never know. You never know. They're a surprising team and they do an amazing job. And I love seeing their accomplishments and their milestones and all the things that they get done over there, you know, whether it's at Wallops, whether it's at Launch Complex 1 in Mahia Island in New Zealand, wherever the Rocket Lab team is, they do an amazing job. And as always, until next time, invest long and prosper.